Hey guys, how's it going? So I haven't had much luck with passive tube equalizers on this show. I reviewed one a couple of years back and it wound up getting the hammer of truth because it didn't do what the outside was making it out to be. That is, I compared it against an honest to goodness Pultec equalizer and it failed miserably in that role. Of course, I got a lot of rape in the comments because how dare I say the thing that you bought wasn't all that good. So what I got today is something cool from Gainlab Audio. This is the Empress. Now, I've worked with Gainlab before, did a video on their Dictator a couple of years back, and that was a tube very mute compressor designed to work on your mix bus, that kind of thing, and it is absolutely stellar. So I've got very high hopes for the Empress. This is their take on a passive tube EQ, but this is not a Pultec clone. Let me say that again for those of you in the back. This is not a Pultec clone, so I'll not be running it against a Pultec. This is trying to be its own thing, most notably because it has a mid-range band, whereas most Pultecs are just high and low shelf. Of course, this does have the high and low shelf thing, and you can do the simultaneous boost and cut thing and all that good stuff, but an added mid-range band is actually going to be pretty cool. Anyway, let's pull this thing out of the box and get a look at it. Oh God, styrofoam. Oh, I hate styrofoam, I really do. Always wind up with getting little styrofoam bits all over the fucking studios.
And it gets everywhere.
That kind of sucks. Ooh, that looks sexy. Ooh, we got a couple of cool stickers. Those will go up somewhere. And what do we get here? A little session recall. Oh, this is apparently their new session recall software. So if you're working with their gear, you can make like little presets and explain what was used on what mix when. So that's pretty cool. Looks like we've got a certificate of inspection. Very cool. And of course, ooh, do not disturb a special time with my Empress. Okay. Actually, I can probably use the do not disturb thing for when I'm shooting videos and that kind of thing, because, you know, every now and then, oh, dinner's ready. It's like, fuck off, I'm shooting. No, seriously, this might come in real handy. All right, and we get power cable, of course. This is what we're here for. Let me turn this around. Let you guys get a good look at this. Ooh, yeah, I've been wanting to try this one out for a while, and here we are. Oh, there it is. Gotta say, this thing's rather heavy, that's for sure. Now, just looking inside the vents here, it looks like there's actually something inside this rack, unlike that crap Technique EQ I reviewed a couple of years back. This one is probably gonna do the job. Like I said, if the Dictator tells me anything about the quality going on at Gainlab, this thing's probably gonna fast become a favorite unit. Let's get a close up here. Let's see what we got. Okay, there we go. Various boosts and cuts and whatnot. And on the back panel, very simple, left and right in and out, all XLRs, and a great big fat power switch. Okay, nothing major here, nothing to get too confusing. My only concern is it works kind of, it's kind of a reflected, not a copy paste from left to right. So we've got bass, treble, treble, bass, which can get confusing sometimes when you're working with it. I'd much prefer having, you know, either all the controls on top and then all the controls on bottom, much like a Tagler. Of course, then again, on the Tagler very mute compressor, they do the exact same thing. You know, they mirror the controls. So you think you're adjusting, you know, left and right, and you're like, oh, fuck's sakes. Unfortunately, this is the kind of EQ you have to keep your eye on to make sure you're making the proper adjustments. Anyway, enough of my yakking. Let's get this thing hooked up. Let's run some signal through it and see what it can do. Here we go.
One eternity later.
All right, here we are nearly 8 months later, and I have to apologize to the audience and to Gainlab, of course, because they've been emailing at me every now and then, like, Glenn, where's the video? Glenn, where's the video? And it's just kind of like, this has become one of those critical pieces of gear that I use so much, it literally gets used on everything I do, and I totally forgot about making a video on it. It's just like, lean over, do a couple of tweaks, it makes my mix sound great. I am not joking. Check this out. the thing about great gear. The more you use it, the better you get at using it, and you can produce better results. That last track there is called River. It's a cover by a Toronto band called Sticks and Stones, and that's going to be out real soon if it's not out already. I did that in combination with the McDSP analog processing box, but the Gainlab was on the mastering bus, and I am absolutely thrilled with the way how that one turned out. Yeah, but what can I say about the Empress other than, hey, this winds up on every single mix I make. I was working with it the other day and I flipped it on and it didn't come on. Something kind of flickered and then it just didn't stop. I'm like, son of a bitch, I blew a fuse. That's the thing about working with tube gear. You know, it gets hundreds and hundreds of volts going on in there. There's a lot of high current there. Sometimes, yes, you might pop a fuse. So I popped it open like, great, I got to go get myself a new fuse. And I'm like, whoa, what's this? There's actually a spare fuse included. So props to Gainlab for putting that in there and not making me have to ruin my session and go out to the store and order some new tubes or go find some or whatnot. There was one right back there. I was back up and running in 5 minutes. That was awesome. So big props there to Gainlab for actually having the foresight to include an extra tube right in the fucking thing. So why do we use this when we've got software? I mean, like, I'm gonna be honest here. This thing is a mastering grade EQ, and the only time I've ever really used it is just on my master bus because it just works. I mean, I'm a big fan of Ozone. You guys see me using it here, and what I'll do is I will use Ozone to kind of like pinpoint a mix. I'll have like a list of target songs that I like to use to have my mixes kind of work in the same frequency range and kind of target with whatever I'm working with. And with the Gainlab on, it's just adding a little bit of bottom end cut at like 50 hertz. I'm even doing that right now. This is a track I'm working with from a band called Young Nails. They are from Vienna, and this is part of a larger project I'm doing with Lewitt, and you guys are going to see a lot more from this band and song further on this fall. But just to give you guys an idea, why are we doing this? Why are we using this? Let me show you. So this is with it switched out. Watch what happens when I switch in. So that just immediately allows me to get my bottom end under control, so it's not going to make, your car stereo bass speakers just fart out and explode and all that kind of thing. Now, the other thing I really love about this that's really unique to this particular EQ, and this is why you'd be considering to get one of these over, say, maybe a cheaper one or a much more expensive one. It's got something a little bit unique to it. We've got this tube boost circuit going on. Check what this does to the mix. And that's why this box lives on my master bus. I don't know what the hell is going on. It just adds a little bit of saturation or something to it just to give the mix a little bit more push, makes it sound a little bit angrier. Whatever the hell is going on, I like a harmonic saturation. I think that's the scientific term I'm looking for. Yeah, whatever. It sounds absolutely magnificent. The other thing that makes this box really unique is, unlike most other passive EQs, whether it be the Pultex or how many other knockoffs or whatnot you've seen, this has a mid-range control. And this is something we don't normally get anywhere. This is the first one I've ever had come in like this. They might show up once in a while, but to have it at this level, this kind of capability, it's not, where you have separate boost and cut controls. It's just a single boost and cut. I myself have never seen one of these on a mastering style passive EQ. Check out what you can do with this thing. This is just crazy. So you get pretty damn aggressive with it with just a couple switches of the knobs. And that's the thing. This is why this is mastering grade, because everything is stepped gain switches. It's not just knobs, so you can get exact matches from your stereo field from the left to the right. Now, that being said, one caveat I did find about this thing, because it's a mirror design and not like a typical left or right design, you might find yourself working on a mix and ask yourself, why the hell is this thing pulling to one side? And it's usually because you might have boosted on one side when you should have been cutting, because you didn't match exactly. This has definitely screwed me up here, where I'll be, I think I'm making a cut here and a cut here, but I've actually hit the boost instead. So you got to remember, the cuts are in and the boosts are on the out, and if you're not paying attention, that will screw you. So don't blame me, you've been warned. And once again, if I switch this out, it just really does bring the mix to life. There's no question about it. This thing's an absolute winner. Now, the other thing I do have to mention, though, even though it is mirrored for stereo and mastering, if you really do want to, you can use it as a dual mono 2BQ, which is pretty cool, too. I imagine you could put it on kick and snare or bass and get lead guitar or something like that. I'm sure you could find a use for it if you had a rack full of these things. It definitely wouldn't hurt your sound, that's for sure. Now, pricing on this thing is $2,090 at Vintage King. That's not exactly cheap until you start comparing it to, some of the Pultec stuff. Like a mastering Pultec will cost you $5,300 for one channel. So that's a total of $10,600 to do the same thing that the Gainlab's doing, but that's with no tube boost or mid-range band either. So bear that in mind. I gotta say, though, definitely impressed with the results I'm getting with this thing, that's for sure. Now, the other thing I'm gonna ask here is, does it do the 30 hertz boost cut thing that I love about Pultecs? We've got this boost shift thing going on here, so it won't boost at the exact same frequency things are being cut at. So hopefully it does give us that kind of cool bell curve thing going on. So I've got this dialed in at 30 hertz on the guitars. Let's see what happens. Oh, yeah. Hell, that tube boost thing sounds absolutely phenomenal, too. So let's dial in just a little bit of 8K as well, just to give the guitars a little bit more sparkle. Let's see what's going on here. Oh, that is nuts. Take it out. Okay, that is freaking amazing. And this is the thing, if I didn't already have another 2BQ on my guitar bus, I'd be debating whether or not to put this on my guitars or on the master, or print something and run the mix through a couple different effects one at a time if I had limited options. All right, bottom line, I am absolutely blown away by the Empress. I think it's phenomenal. I think it's a great sequel to the Dictator tube compressor. I did a video on that last year. That was a fantastic piece of gear as well. The Empress is just absolutely magnificent. Like I said, it lives on my master bus, and with good reason. This is like one of those from my cold dead hand pieces of gear. I am never getting rid of this thing. It just is just too good. It's absolutely amazing. Don't take my word for it. Go check out their website. Go check them out at Vintage King. Go get yourself one of these things, because it's absolutely freaking amazing. If you want to step your mix game up, check out the Gainlab Empress. Can't say enough good things about it. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time.